were talking about how the older person in this relationship forces or asks them, or they freely record themselves on camera or live show them self-harming. And it's like a thing. It's like a trend.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah. So one
What?
TikToker, her at is Care for Him, right? And I'm also going to share her username in here for you guys to look at later. She's an H player that obviously takes the situations and she makes them sexual and harmful immediately. One video has the caption, "When Dada makes me cut on cam," and she's like dancing in the video and exciting about it. And in the clip, you can see the guy as a male avatar saying, "Send it." But what I think she didn't realize or really didn't care is at the top of the post, right? A Discord message drops down. And it's some person with the Discord handle Daddy Zav, and he's asking her, "Where are you from?" So she obviously has like a kink for this because here she is on Roblox with this one guy talking about that's her dad, and he makes her cut on camera. And then you have somebody named Daddy Zav messaging her, "Where are you from?" Okay. So not only is this like sexually harmful to children, but it is also opening them up to harmful physical acts, right? It's very like manipulative, it is very abusive. It does get them into an addiction of self-harming eventually. Um and the issue is Dollhouse roleplay looks like a kid enticing game, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's a dollhouse, and like Roblox is supposed to be mainly for kids, like it's supposed to be fun, cute games. So of course they join the game, okay? So the question is, how does like all this tie into Dollhouse roleplay? How do these creators and this age playing tie into Dollhouse? So anytime you go into Dollhouse, I myself have gone in there to do some screenshots and some, just sitting around and listening for a little bit. Um, there's lots of videos on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, one after another, after another, after another. It's nothing but people that are age playing or people that are in these communities. Okay, they're called comboys or com girls. Okay, so if you don't know what a comboy or a com girl is, coms are uh-huh. Mhm. So, yep. So these guys and girls are mainly known for being extremely mentally and verbally abusive to each other. They dox and or swat anybody that gets on their nerves, or they feel like is going to do them wrong. These guys pressure these girls and, groom them in a way because you can be a 16-year-old grooming another 16-year-old. Grooming doesn't have an age limit. Okay, anybody can be groomed. So these guys and these girls, they groom people to be in these relationships with them, and then it gets very abusive, which a lot of people don't understand. They're like, how do you take abuse on the internet? Like, just don't e-date. Sure, yeah, don't e-date. That should be like the first thing. But for those that do, abuse does go through the screen. And these people, they sit here and they threaten to dox and they threaten to blackmail. And
Well, even for those who don't, like, imagine, like, just the kids joining these games and, like, meeting these people and not knowing their intentions.
the next thing they know,
And,
they're in a Discord and they're being threatened.
yeah.
And
Or
they're too
not
scared to
even
tell their parents.
Discord, even on Roblox. Like, they've been finding ways to get around moderation and, ask for, "Oh, well, where are you located? What's your name? What's your mom's name?" Like, things like that. Like, imagine being a kid and you're not thinking anything of it because you're just a kid. You don't have that knowledge.
Well, the thing is
And,
these
like, being
calm
thrown into
people.
this.
Well, the thing is, though, is these calm people, they're doxers. They don't need to ask them that. They have the information. They get the public information on it, and they tell these kids, if you don't do what I say, here's your address. Guess what I can do? And kids can't think. Me, I get doxed,
Just
and I'm
think about
like,
how, like, terrifying that has gotta be for a kid. Like, just see, like,
your address
chatting with
just pop
someone and
up.
then being, and it literally, and your address pops up, or they're just like, I know where you live, so you're gonna listen to me. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell everybody where you live. I'm gonna go to your house or something like that. Like using those scare tactics on children, and the effect is lasting. Like
Yeah. So
that breach of data is always gonna be in the back of their mind.
yeah, so this is why the Dollhouse roleplay game has become a gateway into these communities, because this is there's 3 communities that are currently in the Dollhouse community. You can look under any TikTok video comments, any YouTube video comments, any Instagram reel comments, and almost every single person is talking about how it needs to be deleted, how there's nothing but calm people, age players, and freaks in that game. Okay, so it's a gateway for all these people in these communities that groom people. Whether you're grooming somebody sexually, whether you're grooming somebody mentally, whatever it may be, it's a grooming technique. Grooming doesn't have to be pedophilia. Grooming can happen to anybody, right? So one TikToker posted their experience in Dollhouse, and the caption said, "I'm traumatized for life," which I would have been too. But in the video, it's 2 age play avatars. And you guys know that TikTok trend song that's like, "I ain't got no panties on, ain't got no pants." You know that one?
Pennies on, yeah.
Okay. So if that's a popular song, it's like, "I ain't got no panties on in the club." I don't even know. It's like it's just a stupid song, okay? But it's an adult song, obviously. Well, these 2 H play avatars, she's on voice chat, and she changed the lyrics of the song to, "I ain't got no diaper on, ain't got no diaper on, I ain't got no
Oh, that's
diaper on."
disgusting.
First of all,
That's
why are you H
vile.
playing? Why are you singing about not having a diaper on?
That's literally
That's
disgusting.
weird. That's
That's
almost as weird as the people who post pictures of their children with no shirts on or just like running around the house in their underwear. That's almost as weird, if not the same level of weird.
it's disgusting.
And like she felt no shame, like she was laughing and giggling, and the girl in the video, she was like, "You really think that's okay?" Like it's not.
Ugh.
Um
Yeah.
so, you know, that was one instance, okay? And there's been quite, like I said, all you literally have to do is sit here and YouTube or Instagram Reel or even hop on TikTok for a second and take a look at Dollhouse Roleplay. And all of it will pop up, right? So another TikToker posted a video from their point of view of a male and a female. It's in an obvious DDLG relationship. For those that don't know what DDLG is, it's daddy dom little girl. Basically, it's an age play kink where it is a dominant older male and a girl age regressing, quote unquote, or role playing being a younger girl being parented and also sexually taken care of by this older man. Okay. So he verbally states in the VC that he's 23 and the girl is 14.
23 years old with a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And you're telling
Whether
me these people think that's okay?
yeah. Yeah, he had no shame. And whether or not
What?
those are actually their ages, the fact that he felt comfortable and she felt comfortable enough to stand on that in front of all these people, to stand on that and not say anything, and for him to be so serious is disgusting. And it encourages
Gobsmacked. That's
yeah,
so
it
vile.
encourages
Oh
that
my
type of
gosh.
romantic relationship between an adult and a minor. What if like somebody's, 11-year-old kid was there, heard that, and they see like, "Oh, like you can be in a relationship. They're getting along. Look at them." Next thing you know, this poor kid is in the same situation, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, I found another TikToker, which I didn't expect this from him. I was just scrolling cuz you learn easily when you're looking for information. You look at people's followers. You look at who they're following, and you'll find everything you need to know. Okay? So, I'm looking through all these people's followers and following, and I saw they all followed the same dude. He's a dreadhead, he's got braces, he looks like somebody that would play like RRP2, East Brickton, South London. You know what I mean? He just gives that vibe off. Not the case. Okay. He posted a picture of Dollhouse RP and he said, "If you saw me and 4 other E-boys, what would you do?" Hello? And then he is actively in an E relationship. Okay, he has his e-girlfriend tagged in his bio. Um, so that's when I started going, a little bit more down some drains. Okay. So Dollhouse Roleplay, it's a living hub for people in these communities. Most of these age players following people, calling them data and other things, as well as talking about their relationship. Um, it's weird. It's super weird. And this game has been up since 2016. Okay. There's no way that the creators don't know about it. There's no way. For as much as your game is on TikTok and on YouTube, how do you not know what community your game has? And why are you not fixing it? But it makes me question the creators already because why is this so game? Why is it called Dollhouse Roleplay when there's no roleplay? Why even make this game? You could have made a simple hangout campfire tent like camping grounds type place if you wanted to. This is not roleplay. Okay? So they don't have active moderators. Why? Why is it still up? Why do the creators allow this or why do they simply ignore it? Um, it's obvious why the age play community shows the game. It has limited rules besides Roblox's filters. You can wear any outfits from within the game. You can change your avatar in the game. And the game creators obviously don't check what's going on. There's not really any game updates. It's been up, like I said, since 2016. There's nothing for them to add. They're okay with having a dollhouse and a grass field. So obviously, it's a hub for all these types of people because it's a free reign. As long as you're, bypassing filters and everything, you can do whatever you want. So going back to the Cure for Him TikToker, she always openly talks about in videos how he makes herself harm for him and send video evidence or do it on live. Um, you can easily spot out an age player. They're wearing a lot of pastel colors, bows, what they call cutesy outfits. But they obviously are encouraging grooming, self harm, and inappropriate mentally abusive relationships online, which is way too easy for a non monitored minor to fall into. Which a lot of these parents, they put parental controls on their child's Roblox and they think they're done. They think they're fine. That's not the case. Um, so let me see here. So Dollhouse actually was, I found out after like going back for, a little bit, looking through some articles and stuff. It was taken down towards the end of April, maybe like the third week in April, but it was only taken down because there was hackers and exploiters. So all they did was fix the scripting for the exploiters, and now your account has to be 10 days old to join. So it got put back up by the beginning of May. And everybody online,
That's
like
crazy.
TikTok posters, they were like celebrating that it was deleted. They were like, we ended an era, Dollhouse RP is finally gone. Nope, unfortunately for them, it is back up. So there's this one content creator. His handle is u_CW. He was hanging out in Dollhouse recording some weirdos, and he found a child with a regular child avatar. It was like a stick figure with like a bunch of like neon colors. His username was LOL, an obvious kid. And this content creator was like, "Hey man, what are you doing in this game?" And the kid goes, "This game is great place for kids." And the kid's playing on the swings, going up and down the slide. And he says, "This is not a good place for kids. Like, you should not be in this game." And many people in the comments of the video also said, like, "Why is this kid in this game? This is not a kid's game. Like, this is not a safe part of Roblox for this child to be on." And yet, why do you think he was on there? Because it's enticing to a child. It says Dollhouse Roleplay. When kids see Dollhouse Roleplay, they're not thinking anything else other than like Barbies and GI Joes or whatever else they may be thinking. They wouldn't think like adults would. I hear Dollhouse Roleplay and I think, there's something weird going on there. But kids aren't going to see that.
Yeah.
And neither are a lot of ignorant parents. You know, some see it and they're like, "Oh, Barbie Dream House. Okay. Yeah, you can play that." No. So many let me see here. Um, Many other players, like, post a lot of videos. One player and creator, on TikTok caught their cousin getting groomed in dollhouse roleplay. So, she's, like
Oh
she has to be, like,
gosh.
15 to 17. She's younger, and her cousin is a lot younger than she is. Okay. So, they're in the game, and this guy is, like, talking to them, okay? And they think he's joking at first, but he openly admits that he's a groomer. He openly admits that he's an 8th grade teacher, supposedly.
What?
And from what the caption
Huh?
says, you can hear him, like, doing things to himself from the microphone as he's talking to this girl.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh my
Mhm,
gosh. That's
mhm.
oh
Yeah.
my. I'm literally speechless.
Yeah, that was probably, like, the worst. I wouldn't say it's the worst video I found. I think that is, like, in the same level of all these videos where these girls are talking in dollhouse roleplay about how they cut themselves on camera and things like that. I think that's, like, a whole nother level. I think the self-harm and that kinda, like, mental abuse and grooming is kinda separated from the sexual grooming, but it's still in the same boat. You know what I mean? It's, like, still there. It's just terrible. It
Mm,
really is. Like, I feel terrible for people.
it's still
And I feel
wrong. Like,
yeah, and I feel terrible for these, like, young teenage girls who are getting in these relationships online because let's be quite frank, no child with a good, stable life at home is gonna be doing this stuff or getting into these relationships. So, I feel terrible that these teenage girls are seeking out things that they're missing from their parents and their, um school life and their, religion life or whatever it may be, they're missing something where they feel like they need to talk to these men who abuse them over the internet and it just continues a toxic cycle. It's like horrific. So another YouTuber, his name is Aggressive Scott, and he outs a lot of like games for having weirdos and such. He made a video about 4 months ago playing Dollhouse and showing how it's full of age players and groomers and how the game's a really bad place to be. There was a verified user in there known as Zuventi. And I'm not too sure, but Marcus, how do you get verified? You have to have a certain amount of followers. Okay. So a verified user from Roblox, Zuventi. Okay. Okay. So Zuventi, I put his name in the chat as well. He was in there. And aggressive Scott was like, why is there a verified person in this kind of place? What the heck? So he goes and he finds him in game, and they're all surrounding this like H player. And aggressive, he starts to question the verified user. He's like, you're really weird for being in here. Like, what are you doing in here? Like, this is a really interesting place for you to be. And lo and behold, he got kicked from the game for asking this verified user that. So I'm going to assume he
hmm,
has mod perms of
that's
some
a little
sort
odd.
or a mod of some sort was in there. Okay. Um, so after looking, I went and looked at Zuventi's profile because I was like, Dollhouse cannot be the only thing he's into, right? So one of his favorite games is a XYZ game called Vibe Space. And for those that know, you know what XYZ Vibe Spaces are. Okay. For those that don't know, anything tagged XYZ or called Vibe or Hangout Space is literally a low lighting, neon light, full of couches and beds and blankets you can automatically sit and do poses on, voice chat place. Okay. They oftentimes have like an outfit room for like matching couple outfits or like just really revealing avatar outfits.
It's just like a
Um,
buzzword, really.
yeah.
Like those are
So,
buzzwords. Hang out, hug, XYZ, like
mhm, yeah.
just a
So
buzzword.
that was one of his favorite games. LOL. Not shocking, but shocking at the same time. So it's a known community game for people looking for relationships and e-sex, basically. So his favorite game is Vibe Space. He was in Dollhouse. A YouTuber exposing Dollhouse got kicked out of the game for asking him why he was in it. And Zuventi's Roblox account was made in 2010. So I think it is very safe to say he is above the age of 18. Okay, he's not in the dark about these types of games. He's not a simple new game developer, new to Roblox, just wanting to expand, and he's checking out other popular games. He knows what he's doing. He knows what's going on in these games. Okay. And another thing that I noticed from Aggressive Scott's YouTube videos, a commenter released the information that a lot of players now put the year they were born in their username. And there was about 2 or 3 people in this specific game that Scott was in before he got kicked that had 2014, 2013 in their usernames, meaning that they are 13 and 12-year-olds. And there's only truly really one reason why they would put that in their username. I don't see any other regular, children just looking to play games putting their birth years in their username. So either these people are lying and they're looking for this attention, or they're children who have been susceptible to something online that they shouldn't have, and now they're like, oh, this is fun, this is exciting, and now they're looking for it, right? So many creators have made videos on how disturbing and quote-unquote freaky this game is. So that goes back to my point of there's no way the creators do not know. So now it's just like the big question, like, why do you allow it? I did DM one of the creators and ask them if they're willing to talk about their game a little bit. Have not gotten a reply. I doubt that I will. At this point, I don't think they care what goes on. I don't think they care what kind of community they have, because the game's numbers stay steady. The amount of people that are in the game constantly stays steady. They never have a quiet hour in their game. I've looked at the player count at 8 a.m. and I've looked at the player count at 11 p.m. It stays relatively the same. Obviously, it spikes a little bit more into the nighttime. As everybody knows, for some reason, the wolves come out at night online, okay? Parents are asleep. Kids are up late unsupervised. Other freaky people are awake and, out from their jobs and or clocking in for their jobs online for the night, right? So it just doesn't make sense how certain games that have blood in them, or a little bit of gore, like shooting games and such on Roblox, they get striked and taken down for not being labeled with the correct content maturity level. But games like Dollhouse Roleplay, where these communities gather, is not. Am I wrong on how that works, Marcus? Like,
No, I feel like,
you have to
agree.
put a certain content maturity on your game for it to stay up.
I agree. The content maturity is a bit I guess you could say screwed, It is unfair, People like us that's making regular games, we have to adhere to much more rules because we have gore and we have this and we have that. But then there's people making these sexual games and they're kind of like, I guess, getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not even kind of. They are.
Well,
getting
yeah,
away
they
with
are.
It.
It's been up since
Because-
2016.
And you know what? You brought up
only-
earlier. You brought up earlier about interviewing one of the developers. I can't remember what video I was watching, but I was watching one of the videos. It was like a whole playlist, because you know how when you go on YouTube and you just let the autoplay go, they'll send you down rabbit holes you didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
YouTube was just playing, and I'm watching this video, and come to find out, one of the dudes ended up he interviewed a couple of the condo communities, and he ended up role playing like 2 dudes that were developers. And a lot of these people will sit up there and say, "Oh, well, I just did it for the money." If I have an interview that I had personally with the Unforgiven people. Well, I wouldn't even say it was an interview. It was more so an interrogation, because I got on their ass. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Why the fuck would you do this and da da da? You know what I mean? But like,
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much said the same shit. It was, oh, I'm just gonna do it for the money. So like,
Just gonna do it for the player count.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
think the biggest problem with these Roblox developers is they don't have any morals.
No. I don't think they also realize that you would make so much more money in a game that is actually safe for kids because parents are endorsing the game. Roblox is more inclined to endorse the game. There's more ads that will be out on the game. You will make better
I
money
think
having morals
even
and values.
yeah, even like labeling your game for the right age group. I'm not saying there's a proper age group for grooming or predatory actions at all because there's not. It shouldn't be a thing. Like, come on, people. These are pixels we're talking about. But I am saying, like how the gore games do have to be like 17 plus or yada 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 or give
More maturity moderate.
discretion.
Hmm.
Yeah, give the proper discretion. If you would cater to the proper audience, you wouldn't have some of these problems. And maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't be as big red flags because what 17-year-old is going to go into, a game not knowing, that there are weirdos and predators out there? We're pretty well informed, at age 17. Like, we're not clueless. Or I'd hope that a 17-year-old isn't clueless to what's going on online. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it's acceptable in any way, shape, or form because it's not. It's absolutely vile. It's disgusting.
So on
But
Dollhouse,
just
there is no content maturity rating. It says NA. In their description, the game, it says Dollhouse Roleplay is a fun, creative game for everyone. Play as your own character, hang out, chat with friends, and maybe even meet some new ones. Want to have a whole server just for you and your friends? Look into buying our private servers for extra fun. This game is legally protected by Roblox. The only people involved in this game and the game creation are myself, which is Jung, and Michaela. Any others who claim to be associated or related to this game are not. If copies of this game are created, the game will be removed and legal action will be taken. So, first off, let's dumb this down. Play as your own character, hang out, chat with friends. The genre of this game is roleplay and avatar sim. Where is you playing as your own character? Roleplay. Where is zero game mechanics besides sitting down at a table? An avatar sim. There is no avatar sims in this game. There is no roleplay mechanics in this game. And then the fact that they have to put it out there that the game is legally protected by Roblox, and if copies of the game are created, the game will be removed and legal action will be taken. But you're not doing anything about your own game and the communities you're bringing in. You're just sitting here seeing all the content because there's no way that they do not see the content about their game. If I was a game creator with a popular game like this, I would be looking up my own game on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and seeing what people are saying about it. So there's no way
absolutely.
that they do not know. So you have
I
an
mean,
issue with people making copies of your game, but you don't have an issue with the obvious communities you have in the game.
well, I
If it
think
were
it goes
me,
back
I would
to
delete it.
what I think it goes back to what you and Marcus said. At the end of the day, it's about numbers. It's about the money that is being brought in. So what if they're bringing in a bad audience or people who do some not so great things whenever at the end of the day their player spike isn't drowning? Like, they're doing just fine. Despite the amount of kids that are, getting groomed or having these issues on a daily with these players coming in on this game. At the end of the day, for the creator, it will always come down to what is the game doing for me? And I think that's the problem. I feel like Roblox is a platform about building community and, having safeguards and being safe together and enjoying games together. And it shouldn't be okay for developers not to give a crap about the community just because they're getting a player count.
No, most definitely. But unfortunately, with the way the world is, and obviously the way Roblox runs their stuff, that's morals aren't important anymore at this point.
Mhm.
And it was crazy enough the other day, and I told Anna about this, but on a spouse Facebook page that I'm on, this woman posted about, which we talked about this in the first podcast, a mother posted about how her daughter almost took her own life because of being groomed on Roblox. Well, earlier, at the end of last week, somebody anonymously posted on the spouse page, and she said, "Hey, I saw a couple days ago that somebody posted about how Roblox is a bad place for kids to be. I just want to say that I've played this game since I was in middle school. I am now 20, and this game is Roblox is probably the safest game for kids to play. You just have to know where to stay out of." Pause. Roblox is not the safest game right now for kids to play.
Just highlight the last little bit. You just have to know what to play. But what about
Kids
the
don't
kids
know.
that don't
Kids
know
don't
what to
know.
play? Like,
They don't
you
know.
know, they're open to these experiences across the platform. I mean, just today, after doing some more research, I reached out to a child that I babysat. And I was like, I reached out to their mom. I was like, you know, you need to go through this kid's friends list. And if they don't have anybody that they know in real life added, then you need to get rid of them. And you need to be looking through their games and making sure they're not joining things like bathroom hangout or give free hugs. Like, you need to be going through and really looking through this. And she had no idea about what was going on. And I think that's
Parents have no
why it's
idea
so
because
important.
Roblox covers it up.
Exactly. It's so important for them to get exposure. And I just can't fathom how anybody could say, like, oh, you just have to know what to stay away from, to a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old playing Roblox who don't know any better. Like,
Yeah.
huh?
So
Make it make sense.
to sum this episode up, right? Dollhouse Roleplay is known currently in this age, 2025, to be a hub for groomers, comm people, and age players. It subjects children to sexual online relationships, self-harm, doxing, hacking, swatting, amongst a million other things. And the issue that we're having here is lack of exposure to parents and to people who are unaware that blindly play Roblox and are on the innocent side, when the innocent side is so easy to go into the dark side of Roblox. So, our news that we have for everybody is Anna and I have decided to fully dive headfirst into the comm people communities. So we have created alt accounts. We won't be sharing those alt account names, nor are they easy to find. But we are setting ourselves up with similar avatar types, as well as playing similar games that these people are meeting each other on. The two most popular games for these people is The Hood and Dollhouse Roleplay. We're going to spend the next 2-ish weeks trying to get into these communities, to get usernames, to get message proof of pedophilia, to get message proof of doxing and swatting, as
Get
well as
receipts.
message proof of people encouraging self-harm in minors and or people that they're in relationships with. It is a very deep dive. It is not a comfortable deep dive by any means necessary, nor is it probably like the safest thing in the world to do. But ultimately, we want to give exposure to people, and there's only one way to truly get exposure, and that's going
to be put
fully
in that
undercover.
situation.
So,
And I do have quite a bit of research already started, quite a bit of information already gathered, and we will probably release a podcast, whether it's tomorrow or later on in the week, regarding some things, some progress. I'll definitely be having a chat about communities in Roblox next podcast. I will be taking really big steps on that because I have quite a bit that I have found that is honestly disturbing. But we will be doing a podcast. We're not forgetting it for just 2 weeks. We're just giving
We're
you
gonna
a
have
brief
filler
understanding.
episodes.
Yeah. Not even filler, because they're still just as equally important, and they
Right.
are going to be connected to our in-depth undercover podcast episode, and that one is going to be a lengthy one. But
Oh yeah, it's gonna be large. It's
this
gonna have
upcoming
clips,
podcast that we're
screenshots.
doing, oh yeah, absolutely, it's gonna be deep. But this upcoming podcast episode that we're doing is going to be covering people and communities. Those are our big two. We're not going to go totally head first into that because we want to save a little bit of the really important stuff for our in-depth episode, but we are going to give you guys a filler. We're going to give you guys an idea of what we're up to and the research that we're doing and what we've uncovered so far. But the deep dive is going to be surreal. I mean, just to give you a preview, first 5 minutes was mind blown for the both of us.
Oh
of
yeah, we could have
opening these
made a whole
accounts.
podcast on the first 5 minutes after we opened our accounts and,
Like,
decorated our avatars.
mind-boggling. Okay.
Most people
Crazy.
probably would have made a podcast out of the first 5 to 30 minutes, but we don't feel like that's enough for the exposure. We feel like we really have to go into it and put ourselves in other people's shoes for a moment and see how these people are really operating and just exactly what they're saying to people to get them in their communities and to get them to do what they want. So be on the lookout for that. Keep us in your innermost thoughts, please. We are taking precautions. We are not, letting anybody that we're close to besides each other know the usernames of these accounts, nor are we adding anybody that we know. We're not using real email addresses. We're also using fake phone numbers for voice chat verification. We're using VPNs. We're doing the whole 9 yards of protection because these people, they get very aggressive pretty immediately when it doesn't go their way. So we're prepared to completely expose them. We're not blurring out usernames. We will be giving the full usernames, the full community names, the full Discord names for all of these people. So we're excited in a sense to bring the awareness to everybody, but we're also, kind of nervous, kind of weary, kind of, concerned as to how it's going to go and things like that. But we're doing it for the greater good, so it's really important to us.
I agree.
But yeah, that's all we had today. Today was a shorter podcast because keep making 2-hour podcasts every single day or every other week is not going to work. We get all the information that we need for y'all. We put it in. We upload it. We have Joker, our awesome editor, to upload the videos to YouTube. We have, thankfully, Marcus here to hang out, and listen and give his input. So, we appreciate Boss Man for sitting here listening to us yap. I appreciate Marcus again for joining us and, listening in. So we appreciate y'all for doing that and for helping us, give the exposure because the parents really need it, and so does Roblox.
I agree.
Everybody needs to know.
I think next time too. This is a topic we were supposed to speak on last time, but I think next time we should definitely bring up the XYZ roleplay servers as well, because I think they kind of fit right into the Dollhouse roleplays.
Mm-hmm.
I have an entire document already as well. I've got screenshots and everything. We have quite a few things for quite a few episodes. We're just trying to split it up as much as we can so that there's more content going out for more exposure.
Gotcha.
I did share with Marcus earlier a couple screenshots of what I have done so far in the undercover, and even he was shocked from the stuff that I sent him, and he's been on Roblox for years.
Yeah. And I also wanted to bring to attention for the people that are aware, for all of the game developers that are planning on making quote-unquote communities within this platform. I want to take my hats off to Ruben Sim. You're doing an amazing job despite all of the flack that you're getting. And I want to assist in your battle by coming up with an in-game database. What a lot of people don't know is that these condo games tie you to badges. So, what we're going to do is we're going to tie a blacklist to badges. So people that join your game with specific badges under their profile will automatically identify them as condo role players. And these people will automatically be blacklisted from your game. Now, will that stop people from making alts and joining it on that way and bypassing it that way? No. But at bare minimum, what we could do, maybe we could, Roblox came out with an API thing. So maybe we could also tie it to the API bans as well. And, we could blacklist them that way. However it works, that's the route we're going. So stay tuned. We're going to drop that for the next podcast. And we're going to make it public. And every, I guess you can say, month or so, I'll be updating the database. You can update it as you want. But for me, I'll always be updating it.
Yeah, super good to have in games. A lot of developers should really take that into consideration because it does help weed out, even 2% of the people in these communities, which is just 2% more that players are safe.
2% is greater than nothing. You know
what
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Absolutely. And it takes everybody, sitting back and taking a look and realizing that, yes, this is pixels, but this also truly deeply does affect people. There's, kids who are getting exploited. There's kids who are getting put on, inappropriate video websites. There's kids who are wanting to take their life. There's, people creating these relationships with people online and coming with a mental disorder or, beginning to have a self-harm addiction. It's not just pixels when you get into the dark side. Once you get into these sides, you are wrapped in, you're pulled in, and it becomes your life because your life is threatened in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of people don't have the mental capacity or the proper mental health to say, I can stop doing this. I can get out of this. I can block and move on. So the exposure is important. We're doing everything we can to help the exposure. We are in full support. I can't talk today. Full support of Marcus, adding these to his game as well. People may be mad about it, and a lot of people may say you're just going to lose players. But at the end of the day, a good developer is going to care more about the healthy amount of players with the right mental, spot with morals and values than just random players everywhere.
I agree.
So again, thank you guys for joining. A few of you guys joined at the end. We started an hour ago, but this will be up on YouTube hopefully by the end of tomorrow. Joker, you can cut this next part out. I have a couple appointments tomorrow, a tattoo appointment tomorrow, my wedding